Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. I absolutely love it when we get viewers this early in on the podcast, jumping on and listening. For those of you that are already here, welcome to this episode of Her Version. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Carin Andresen. Carin was raised in a conservative home with the mindset of being seen and not heard. Lacking confidence, she went out into the world, learning how to overcome setbacks, learning how to be a mother, and adapting to all the changes that came her way. She believes you are never too old to grow or to pivot. With a passion of making everyone feel and look like the best version of themselves, Carin specializes in face yoga, and she is excited to share some awesome parts of her journey with us and explore all the things she's learned along the way. Welcome. The biggest issue that I have seen a lot as far as just humans in general, not even necessarily females, but just humans, is an individual coming to a turning point in their life and they start to realize like, hey, I want to do things differently. I'm tired of being in the darkness. I'm tired of being in victimhood. I'm tired of all these challenges, all these struggles, not knowing how to mentally overcome them. But the struggle happens with when they actually see that, realize there's a different way of doing things, and then taking the steps from here to there.
Yes.
In your journey of everything that you've pivoted through and gone through and ups and downs, using your own journey as maybe an example, what would be like the first couple of steps or first few steps that you take when you are going from maybe a struggle or a challenge into a better place mentally and emotionally?
Okay, feel that struggle, be really totally honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And face it and say it is how it is, but don't try not to dwell on it too long. Live in the now, but only in the now, and tomorrow and the week is another time. So acknowledge it, take it with you, but as I say, don't dwell on it, because if we dwell and keep on repeating and we're in that space constantly, you will not be able to grow and move forward.
Yeah. What do you think is a good amount of time for that?
I think we're all very different, of course. So it all depends what it is. I think it depends a bit, if you're just unhappy in general in your life, I think just look at it. What are the things that you're unhappy with? Again, it all comes a lot of people I really don't think are honest within themselves. And that is where I think a lot of people go wrong. Look at it. Just be careful that you don't stay in that space too long. A lot of people go through and they moan and groan and they're so unhappy and they think why people turn away because they can't hear it anymore. Here she comes again with the same story and things like that. So I do believe take a certain time, but don't overdo it. Don't take too long. And it's really hard to say. I would hate to say, oh, it will take a week, a month, or a year. I don't know. And I think in my case, reflecting on my life, I would like to fast forward a little bit and would have done things a lot faster now knowing what I know. But it didn't happen then. and so yeah, it just all depends. It depends too on the support you're having. I think that makes a difference. I mean, I've done it a lot on my own with no support, but other people, if they do have support, they move a little bit faster, just take it if it's in front of you and it feels right to you. That's always what I would say.
Yeah, I like the fact that you're saying now looking back, you would have moved a little bit quicker. Because I think that's a good acknowledgement for people who are in something right now, to realize that we're almost giving them permission to kind of move past it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sometimes people need that.
Yes, I think so too. But also, I think, you've got to be very honest, and some people are not ready, and to be pushed into something, it's got to come from your heart.
Yeah.
And it's got to be very true to yourself, and not because someone is saying that should be better for you or you should be doing that, because it will never be the same. And I realized, a lot of things that I did, I had to feel it, I had to experience, I had to go through it, I had to suffer it, I had to take my time. So but so we as I say, we're all so different.
Yeah, and we all digest things at different rates too.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's one of the cool things about this podcast and the platform here is, hearing so many stories. I think it gives strength, knowing that other women also went through it, very similar stories, and then them realizing like, oh wow, Carin's saying she wished she would have done it just a little bit sooner. I wonder what my story would look like if I just cut this out, and just move past it a little bit sooner.
I mean, here I am. I only started. I did my course, my training, 2020, becoming a certified facial yoga instructor. Absolutely loved it. It took me a year to practice on myself and to have the confidence to teach other people, because I knew it works and I knew how good it is. And I mean, it's very well known, but the confidence of getting friends and then going online. Oh my God, I've never done things online. So I had to go really back to New Zealand last year, finding out that there's no one teaching facial yoga there locally. And I knew I would want to move back there. So I'm just in the middle of doing that. I'm leaving on the 22nd of April. So for me, it took that to do the step to actually do something online. And even though I have no idea really, but the desire, the passion of doing that, I needed that push. It is kind of so interesting, and people kind of think, oh, why didn't you do it straight away? Don't wait until when you finish a course, you really like something, just don't procrastinate. Do it straight away. I couldn't. It wasn't ready. I was not ready to do it. And I knew if I would have done it, it wouldn't have been good. It didn't feel right. So here we go. And then you can say, oh, maybe I wasted a year. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. But I'm here now.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Exactly. What's the number one lesson you've learned from your life?
I think the number one lesson would be to be confident. Be confident, love yourself, and don't be so hard on yourself. Just be kind. Be kind to yourself and know you will do it. You will make it.
Definitely.
Because I didn't that when I was a child. When I was a young woman, I just didn't. I wanted to be with outer beauty and having the applause from other people to feel my comment. But it's really within ourselves. If you work on that, you will radiate it to other people, and people will notice that. And that, I think, it's just the biggest.
How old were you when you think you figured that out?
I think, to be honest, a few years ago.
Yeah. But that's what this whole podcast is about. That's your whole message that you're preaching, is you're never too young or too old. You can pivot at any time.
Absolutely. So,
And actually, yeah, never too young too. Never too young and never too old.
Never too old. That's my motto too, to start facial yoga when people ask me that. Absolutely. You're never too young and you're never too old.
Yeah.
And this is why when I came across it, it just fit. It was me. My name was on it. I just had to do it. So
cool.
yeah.
Just listening to this gives me so much inspiration as far as my future, because a lot of times we get stuck in these mindsets of we have to do everything right now. And I look at you still look so young. Like, you look like you're 40. Like, I wouldn't have guessed anything over that. So just hearing your story, hearing all the things that you've done between 40 and now, is so inspirational, realizing that we still have so much time to do so many things.
Absolutely. That's exactly. And that's why it never stopped me, because I'm sure when I was in my late 40s and I went to Berlin, that people kind of thought, my God, don't you think she's a bit too old to be doing that? Not knowing that, leaving a home behind, packing up, a big house in New Zealand, moving into a 68 square meter flat with my daughter and a couple of suitcases. Would that be the right thing to do at that age? I'm sure that thousands of people thought that, and thinking maybe she's got a bit mad or something. And it's honestly, it's one of the best things I've ever did, because it looking back now, it did take such a long time to rebuild the city where I'm going to return to now. If I would have stayed, I knew I would have wasted time. So I wanted then to move forward. I mean, I spent a few years there looking at it all. So, and I also did it because I knew, who knows, can I still do it in my mid 50s, 60s? Maybe not. So you become more aware. It's no panic, but also be aware. Yes, I'm at that age. Yes, I still got that energy. Yes, I can still do it. I feel good within myself. Do it. Just don't let that stop you.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I'm wondering what one of your, as you've grown, when you were a little bit younger, what was one of the limiting beliefs that you had, and what do you believe now?
Limiting belief was that I wasn't good enough.
Really?
I wasn't good enough. Yeah, I wasn't good enough because I wasn't very academically. I didn't go to university. I don't have a very logical brain. I've got more emotional intelligence, and that is just not there anymore. I don't really care. I don't even care if people really like me or not. I am who I am. I'm being authentic. And I think when I was younger, I certainly wanted to people that believe that people like me, everyone liked me. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be loved. And I think now that's fine. I'm fine. I love myself. I'm really, really happy within myself. I'm very pleased and proud what I've achieved and what I've overcome in my life. And that the tragedies that I faced with didn't make me bitter or hard or totally closed up. They're all there, and they are wounds, and they're big things that happen, but that I can talk about it, I can acknowledge them, and I can move on, and I can be whoever I want to be. And that is something that is great. That's really exciting.
Yeah. How do you think that viewpoint has impacted your daughter?
I think she's very proud of me. She said to me the other day, I think when I first started talking about facial yoga and what I wanted to do, I think she said, my God, facial yoga, what is that? And, how are you going to do it? And how are you going to make money doing that? And things like that. And I said, I'll work it out. It will happen. And then I sort of told her, and we were talking about the podcast, and I think she said, oh my God, it is kind of working, or something is happening.
That's awesome.
So,
how old is she, by the way? I forgot.
She's 23.
23. Wow.
Yeah, she's in Auckland. She's in New Zealand. Last year at university, and she works, and she's amazing. She's fantastic. She's very beautiful, and I'm so proud of her. She's done very, very well.
Is she also tall?
Not quite as tall as me, but she is tall. Yes. Yeah.
Cool. I would love to take a moment real fast to acknowledge the individuals that are here watching us live, supporting you and your story and the Her Version platform. So thank you so much for those of you that are hanging out with us and listening in to the storyline here. For those of you that are possibly catching us on the replay, and you're at this point in Carin's story, we appreciate you being here. Make sure you hashtag replay so that we know that you're here, and we can send you some love to whichever platform you're on. I would love to talk about your business, your yoga, your coaching, what you do, how you help other humans.
Well, I sort of started it, as I say, I've always been, after I finished beauty school and did my training and I went to New Zealand, I always liked helping people. So this business now, Face Yoga New Zealand, is basically, I've got a website that you can see. I work a lot on Facebook, and people come to me. They come to me because I think I'm not desperate for it. I talk about what I love and how I teach it. I teach it a little bit differently. I teach it on Zoom calls once a week over a month with a personal approach. So it's kind of very personalized. I do develop a program for each woman. We address lifestyle, aging habits, basic things like, do you drink enough water? Do you sleep enough? Do you sleep well? How's your nutrition? So it's an overall approach. So I get very personal with the whole well-being thing, because that is very important to me. Because if you got poor posture and if you're unhappy, it will show in your face. We show so many emotions in our faces, so it's really important to work on your mindset. And because I do that, I think people start craving again this personal touch. I mean, we live in a very digital world, and it's amazing. Here you are in the States, here I am in Germany, and we can do all this, but it can be also quite lonely for women. So instead of an app, I just adjust poses, I add a few poses on, and basically get feedback, and they record it. And I want women to integrate facial yoga for the rest of their lives.
What are the benefits of it? What does it help with?
It certainly helps with breathing, with mindset, positive affirmations, because you self-love. And of course, the poses you do, it's massage techniques, acupressure points, exercises. It really does help with wrinkles and big nasolabial folds. It uplifts basically your face. I mean, we've got 57 muscles in our faces that we either over or underuse. And a lot of people are so focused on their body, body yoga, body exercise, that we forget about our faces. So you basically work with the muscle So you release tension. You know, when people have a lot of tension in their jawline,
Yeah.
they clench their teeth. So you can, with acupressure points, release all that naturally. So I like to think about it natural Botox. It does take longer than injecting Botox, but it certainly, if you practice it daily, 10 to 15 minutes a day. And I always say to all my clients, you know, it's very important to do pictures before and after in the same light, preferably same distance. And there's a big difference. Big
Wow.
difference without filters before and after.
Wow.
So you certainly, it softens lines, uplifts, and as we age, you know, gravity takes over, everything holds down. So you do a lot of upward movements and stuff like that. Yeah,
That's fantastic. Sounds relaxing.
it is.
It sounds
That's
kind of like a self-made DIY facial. That's awesome.
absolutely does. Yeah. And it, as I say, it's a little bit deeper because you work with the muscles. And
Okay.
I love that it doesn't take that long because everyone is so busy. You know,
Yeah.
we're so busy too, and everyone thinks, oh God, when I exercise my body, it's another hour or 90 minutes gone. Well, facial yoga, 10 to 15 minutes, no longer. You need to do that daily, and you can do it while you go to the bathroom. We all have to go to the bathroom. You can do some poses while you put your moisturizer on. I mean, people can put their moisturizer on and lie down or uplifting. You know, there is so many things you can easily integrate it, and it's not difficult to learn. It's not complicated. I make it very simple.
That's awesome. What's your ideal client age? Is this who's
To
normally
be
attracted to
honest,
you?
it is really funny. It's been, I've had women at the age between 40 and 60, 65. And last week, I had a young girl, my daughter's age, approaching me. She wants to learn it. She wants to prevent. And I think it's awesome. I think it's so cool that she does. Because I said to her, my God, you know, pictures before and after with skin like hers, you will not see much of a difference. But she does it for her mindset and because she wants to learn. She's curious and she wants to learn it for later in life. And I think it's fantastic. So
That's
again, you're never too young to do that.
that's
Never too
great.
old.
What about male clients? Have you had a male client yet?
Not yet, but I'm open for that. That's
Yeah.
absolutely fine.
We got
Men
to get
age.
some. We got to get some men on the bandwagon. They age too. Yes,
Exactly.
yes, you men out there who are listening in, you're also getting
Definitely.
wrinkles.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
there's so many men now do facials and look after their skin, and I'm more than happy also to teach men. You know, as I say, there's no factor where I say yes. Often it is women when gravity sets in from their 30s, they notice more things, and
Yeah.
they still think facial yoga is just an outside only. It's only for wrinkles, or it's only. But as I say, I strongly believe there's so much more to it than that.
Yeah. I see huge differences in my face, even over just the last year, and I think a lot of it is also, I pay attention to my face a lot because of this. So I'm
Yes.
constantly staring at myself. So it's really easy to get hypercritical, but definitely, as between like 30s and 40s, there's some differences in the pores and the sagging and everything that goes along with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
it
for
does.
sure.
And I think it's so nice if you can do it naturally. I feel when I was in my late 30s, I did a little bit of Botox and hyaluronic acid, and the Botox I didn't really like so much the effect of it. I mean, you couldn't see any lines when someone smiled, and it kind of just looked a bit strange.
Yeah.
Um, so there was another thing. By the way, you can do facial yoga as well after you have had Botox and hyaluronic acid. You just have to wait a couple of weeks, and it prolongs the effects of the fillers.
Oh,
It
nice.
just does. So it shouldn't stop women that are listening now, oh, because I've had Botox or because can't be doing facial yoga. Yes, you can do very well
Oh, that's so
together.
cool. Good to know. Good to know. What does success mean to you?
Happiness, fulfillment, satisfaction, I would say. Don't know exactly, but it really it makes me happy if I can help people, support people, and make a difference.
Definitely.
That is success to me.
Yeah.
You know, the other day when I had a client and a woman, and I start with shoulder rolls because, I mean, if you want to work on the lower part of your face, often you get tight shoulders or a tight neck. And we were doing some exercises, and she said to me, "Oh my God, it really has made a difference. I can move my head a bit further, than I could before." That made me incredibly happy. That was meant for me that I was successful. It's just the small things in life mean so
Definitely.
much. Mm.
Definitely. Speaking to the females who are listening here live or possibly on the replay, who are going through some stuff, going through some struggles, going through some darkness, maybe having trouble finding their authentic selves, what would be some advice you'd give to them in closing?
Um, Let it all out. Be honest. Um, Feel the pain and let it be there. Acknowledge it and put it somewhere, and then move on. Take that as an experience to be stronger and to grow and to learn. And to say that's all part of things we have to go through, because where there's darkness, there's light.
Yeah.
And without light, there's no darkness. So just trying to work through it and take time, take time and trying to be kind to yourself and feel loved and do self-love. If you don't have friends, if you feel alone, treat yourself. Be good.
Definitely. For those that want to learn more about you, I'm assuming your website has all your information.
Yes,
Okay. So
definitely.
website is
Otherwise, you will find it. Yeah.
okay. So website is right above her face box right there. Do you have social media on that? Can they find you
Yes,
on Facebook? Okay.
definitely. I've Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I've got a face yoga page, New Zealand, and a YouTube channel. So you
Perfect.
find me in all the
Awesome. So
social
those of
media.
you listening in, make sure you check out that awesome website, learn some more about some face yoga. Um, Contact her if it's something that you're interested in or have more questions about. Definitely something that's needed, especially as we're getting older and you're integrating mindset into that, which is just absolutely phenomenal. Do you have any closing thoughts before we close off? This has been great.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it has been so much fun. No, I just not really. I think I kind of said it all.
Yes.
I
Yes. Well,
just
thank you so much for those of you that are listening now and hanging out with us for almost an hour here. We appreciate you being here and supporting us and taking some time out of your day to listen in. For those of you that are watching on the replay, like I said, make sure you hashtag replay so we know that you were here. I want to thank everyone so much, including Carin, for joining us here on her version. This community is expanding every single day and is filled with females who are striving to do better than they did yesterday. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you have a story to share, make sure you reach out to me or at the website herversion.life. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth and inspire.